Hello, everyone. We're back for our May edition of our Famicos Foundation Community Podcast. I'm Ariana Johnson, Communications Manager with the Famicos Foundation. I want to wish everyone a happy spring, even though we are transitioning from spring to summer. We have a great episode ahead. First, once again, we're going to start with our upcoming events. Saturday, June 3rd, from 1 to 4, we will be hosting a health and wellness expo at Gateway 105. From 1 to 4, we will be handing out there'll be fresh produce. We'll be handing out resources as well as healthy cooking classes and other things that will be at the disposal of all the community members. So please stop by. The address is 1322 East 105th Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44106. We will be hosting our Moonlight Market Thursday, June 8th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's a great event. We'll have food trucks, local vendors, live music, resource tables, adult games, a DJ, a gaming truck, and more. That will also be at Gateway 105, which is, once again, the address is 1322 East 105th Street, Cleveland 44106. And then lastly, we will have our Digital Access Expo on Friday, June 9th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at, once again, Gateway 105, 1322 East 105th Street, Cleveland, Ohio 44106. We will be handing out tablets, and we will be doing things like ACP outreach as well as providing digital access to community members. And speaking of Gateway 105, we have Mrs. Veronica Walton, one of the owners of Gateway 105 Farmers Market. How are you, Mrs. Walton?
I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for being here. So we're just gonna start off with some of the questions that we all normally ask our guests. Tell us about give us a brief background about your family life and your introduction to starting a farmers market, specifically health and wellness.
Okay. Well, family life. I'm married to Michael Walton. We have 2 adult children. Mm-hmm. So we probably shouldn't call them children anymore, but we still do. And now we have 2 grandchildren. So we have the perfect family. And we've been doing work in the food system industry for about 15 years, actually, as a family. Okay. In particular, I'm from the South. I'm from Virginia, and I've been here all of my adult life, and I've always tried to find my way home in any respect that I could. And so urban farming and farmers markets are just kind of near and dear to my heart because they feel like I'm in a space that's not quite as urban.
Awesome. My grandmother, she was from Virginia. She was from Danville. So
okay, yes. I've heard of Danville.
Okay, and you talked about how your family life or your Southern connection inspired you to establish Gateway 105. When did Gateway 105, the year that it was established?
Okay, so it was really interesting. We were in the neighborhood doing some work, mostly environmental work, across the street at the Hitchcock Center for Women. Oh. And in that space, it was decided that there would be an urban farm there. Because there's also a lot of other individuals in the neighborhood who have background in backyard growing and farms from the South before they migrated to the North. A lot of the residents from the Famicos building actually came to the Hitchcock Center for Women because they heard that we had an urban farm. Mm-hmm. So that's how we got connected to Famicos. It was through residents who reached out to us to have a space and actually a place where they could obtain some delicious greens, right? Yeah. So in 2011, the Famicos Foundation had decided that it wanted to do something in the area of impacting food insecurities. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to be at the table. One of the city planners asked me to come and talk to some residents, came in the building, And literally, I've been in the building ever since. They said they wanted to do a farmer's market. They said, well, we need to find somebody to do that. And I was like, I could do that. Awesome. And so in 2011, July 2011, we started the farmer's market, open air market, popping up tents, inviting vendors, inviting community, and all kinds of things have come from it since.
Excellent. And then can you just give us, I've been to Gateway 105 and I absolutely love it, but for the residents who haven't had the opportunity to, to come down to Gateway 105, can you tell us the highlight, talk to us about the highlight of Gateway 105, the vendors, the fresh produce, the community engagement, just the Gateway 105 experience.
Okay. So it's really a cool spot. We no longer have to pop up tents or chase them during storms. Mm-hmm. It's a building now with sliding doors, so it opens up into something more like an open air market. Mm-hmm. You could find anywhere between 10 to 15 or more vendors at a time there. The urban farmers come with food that they've actually grown locally, and we have one Geauga County farmer who actually still shares with us, and he shares fruits and vegetables from his farm. But in general, we have local urban farmers there. We have baked goods there. We have handcrafted items that are like adorable, like very well made. Everyone that shows up at the table shows up with excellence. We have a certified herbalist there who loves sitting and talking, finding out how he can help you. In the space, it's big enough for us to have cooking demonstrations. So we have Chef Sherelle, who's been around about the same amount of time as I have been. I met her through Case Western Reserve. She came to the urban farm at the Hitchcock Center, and she and I have kind of been hanging out ever since through an organization called Food Depot to Health, which is the nonprofit organization that I manage. So you'll find cooking demonstrations. There's also right now a huge amount of plants. So one way that we thought we could impact the community was to give them what they're already doing. Right. So a lot of people have flowers in their yards. So over the course of time, we've been learning how to grow flowers and growing multiple plants, and we have plant sales there. So you can buy fruits, vegetables, you can buy plants to grow for yourself. You could also buy flowers and even house plants. Another vendor that we're kind of excited about is one who has gravitated to the space. He has chickens. Oh. Right? And so he brings chicken eggs, and he sells fresh eggs, and they're delicious, nothing like store-bought eggs. And last year, he even bought a couple of chickens and a rooster with him. That's just awesome. For show. Wow. And it really did give that feeling of being in, an old-time farmer's market.
That's awesome. And I actually, when you all had your soft launch, I seen the actual chicken eggs, and I thought, oh my God, they look so fresh and new. And I just, anybody who has the opportunity to go to Gateway 105 really should, because it's definitely a citadel of produce, of small businesses, of community engagement. Everyone seems to have a very positive reciprocity with one another, and it's just a great way to enjoy a summer day and even a fall day, because I know that the season this year is from May 19th to December 8th.
Exactly.
Okay.
So those same doors that I said open to make it like an open air market, they actually close. Mm-hmm. We close them up and we seal them off like you would in the wintertime in your home, and the building is heated.
Right.
So it is a nice space. It's one that you can frequent once a month, every week, and you will not see the same thing.
Excellent.
Anytime that you come.
Excellent. Okay. And then you spoke about it, but what is the, briefly, but I would like to kind of expound upon it. Like, what is the message behind Gateway 105?
So when we started back in 2011, a lot of the funding came from hospitals. Mm-hmm. Mount Sinai is the one that comes to mind first. I believe Cleveland Clinic also, because we wanted to do something as it related to health disparities in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So there's a statistic that lots of people throw around. They talk about if you lived 8 miles away, that you could live to be in your early 80s, but if you lived in the Huff community or the Glenville area, then your lifespan was shortened by about 20 years. And so the farmers market actually lends to changing the health disparity story by way of food. Food is health. If you have fresh food, you get more nutrition, social economics. You have a very social environment. People come in, sometimes they see their schoolmates from high school that they haven't seen for 15, 20, or 30 years. You also have the possibility to make money there. Money answers all things. Yeah. And so having extra money helps, and that attributes to mental health, attributes to your financial health. And so we kind of view the farmers market as a hub or a place where we could really address some of the health disparities that are in the Glenville neighborhood.
Excellent. And then can you explain to us the importance of health and wellness? I mean, you spoke about it, but like specifically in the Glenville community, that it really consists of Black and brown people. Like, how is the Gateway 105 community or Gateway 105 hub really proactive in providing the narrative of health and wellness in the community?
Right. So a part that I didn't speak about is education. So early on, we had a lot of schools, or 2 schools, that came and they recruited for their school at the farmers market. We had some organizations that actually started at the Gateway Farmers Market, and they interacted with students, taught them how to grow food. We had other organizations that started there, like the Caravan, started at Gateway 105, and now it's more of a social economic. So these things kind of were springboards in the Glenville neighborhood, and as it is, the farmers market can still do those kinds of things. So the residents that live there, the people that work there, and the people that play in the Glenville area still have opportunity as it relates to addressing some of the social determinants of health. Okay,
excellent. And then talk to us, or actually, let me go back. What are the goals and things that we should look forward to with Gateway 105 for the 2023 season?
Yoo-hoo, yes. So we're really excited about it. Just recently, and I do mean extremely recent, like in some cases just an hour ago conversation, we've been trying to get some of the partners in the area to collaborate with the urban farmers and the vendors at the market. And so as it stands, we have a conversation going that's solidified with Case Western Reserve. Case Western Reserve has a farm, and they are willing to support our CSA program with some of their produce. CSA is Community Supported Agriculture. Okay. So it's like a membership program where people that purchase the membership or that buy the CSA every 2 weeks can participate in. It's also available for individuals that use the Ohio Direction Card. Okay. And they can save 50% of the cost for the CSA. Another one of the community members is a company called Wake Robin. They will provide at a very low cost some of their fermented food products, which are really good for your health, to be a part of the CSA. And the most recent conversation as it relates to the CSA is Cleveland Pasta. Okay. Where they're going to provide some of their pasta sauces to also participate in the CSA. So some of this money was made available, this collaborative effort was made available by the city of Cleveland in a grant that was funded to Wake Robin as a circular Cleveland grant. And so we really are trying to keep that circular economic situation in the food system, but in the food system by the people who eat the food. Yes. Right? And so we're really excited about that. Our goal is to have at least 100 CSAs. The lady at UH is working with us to help to recruit. We're going to recruit through Famicos and recruit through all of our individual entities to try and reach that goal. Awesome. Right? And so what it's going to do is it's going to help people maintain jobs. It will at least create 1 or 2 summer jobs, and it's really going to get the urban farmers on the map. For instance, somebody like Pete, if he could offer his eggs to 100 people once a month, that's a little boost for the
Yeah,
income, and
absolutely.
it also gets people used to having fresh eggs. So we
Absolutely.
win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And then talk to us about you talk. Well, I love the cooking class. Actually, last year when I came, the first time I came to Gateway 105, it was the actual. I think it was your last day
Okay.
of the season, and Chef Sherelle did a cooking demonstration. Can you talk to us briefly about the healthy cooking class and how long is the schedule of the healthy cooking class at Gateway 105?
Sure. So if I remember right, she has a favorite salad that
Okay.
she does that is a citrus salad, and it is very pretty, and it's a delicious salad. So I can see why you would have been excited about that. Yeah. So during the year, we have at least once a month, we try to schedule a cooking demonstration, and that would be with Chef Sherelle.
Okay.
And then we have other chefs and cooks and people that have different cultural backgrounds that want to share some of their culture and their cuisine with us. And so in the past, we've had people that showed us how to make sofrito, or someone who showed us how to stuff wings. Like he just loves grilled meat, and he showed us how to stuff wings.
Wow,
And
that sounds good.
we've had a lady, an African lady, show us how to make some of her home food. The variety of foods that can be prepared and shared in front of others is limitless. But our goal is to try to make sure that happens at least once a month.
Absolutely. And then also Gateway 105 is known for their highlighting or featuring vendors. I love the vendors that you all have there. Can you talk to us about the vendor opportunities that might be available?
Right. We do still have vendor opportunities available, partly because as we move into the summer months, we're not restricted to the inside space. So, and then the customer base picks up around mid-June, July, August. We have a grassy space next to the farmer's market, and we also have a concreted space on the opposite side of the farmer's market. So we never really turn away vendors that are selling food product, baked goods, handcrafted items, unless it's something that we already have 2 or 3 vendors selling. So as it stands right now, the doors are wide open. We have opportunities for anything from jewelry making to baked goods to fresh produce. I'll give you an example of how non-invasive it could be to be a vendor. We have one vendor who every year they grow a lot of tomatoes and a lot of peppers. And every year they show up for about 3 weeks to sell their tomatoes and their peppers. And they're welcome every time they come.
Wow. And then talk to us about the importance of establishing urban farmers market. But if someone doesn't have the access, just an urban garden in their community.
Okay. So that's also a cool, fun thing for me. So there, everybody can't get there on Friday or Saturday. Some people, especially during COVID, didn't want to have that kind of interaction. And then there's some people who, they can't get there maybe because of transportation, or they just don't have the time. And so about 4 years ago, we started a program that's called a homestead program. And the homestead programs encourages individuals to grow some food, some fruits or vegetables at their own home, and also to produce a product from it if they can, to sell at a farmer's market. And so we have now about 6 active homesteaders that are available to ask questions. We have organizations that want to set up time frames where they can come and they can work together to learn how to start something from seed and take it home or take it to a community garden. Okay. So the community garden in the area is Michael R. White. That's the one that we're the most closely related to. They can grow all summer and fall at the Michael R. White Garden, and there's usually somebody there to kind of help them learn how to grow.
Okay, excellent. And then also, this is the last question, but it's like a segue into this is that was a perfect segue into this last question. What advice would you give to someone who's interested in establishing a community garden or farmers market?
Okay, so that's two questions.
Okay, well, two.
So, a community garden, my advice would be to try and go through an organization that already has a community garden in place. Learn as much as you can about a community garden because it's definitely different from a market garden. It involves management of people and space and resources. And OSU Extension has a program that they train people on how to manage and work in community gardens. And then farmers markets are managed or they are semi-regulated through the Ohio Department of Agriculture. And so there are certain rules that apply to a farmer's market. If they wanted to start one, I would say that it would be better to join one unless you have some group of people that can really provide a lot of produce. Okay. Because there's not a lot of growers that can produce enough to sustain a market for 6, 8, 10 months out of the year.
Excellent. And then if someone wanted to follow you via social media, what would be your social media information?
They could go to Food Depot to Health, Depot, DEPOT, number 2, Health, or if it's the website, Food Depot, FD2health.org.
And then also we do have a official Gateway 105 page on our website, www.famicos.org.
There you go.
Well, Mrs. Walton, thank you so much for spending time with me today. And we look forward to everything that Gateway 105 has to offer for this season, which once again, it will be May 19th to December 8th, 2023. The days are Fridays and Saturdays. The hours are Fridays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The address, once again, is 1322 East 105th Street, Cleveland 44106. They have fresh produce, local vendors, yoga, healthy cooking class, artisan jewelry, and more. And we hope to see you all down there. And thank you so much. We will see you all next time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.